Loneliness as a death penalty. Can loneliness be a sentence of death? In an increasing number of cases in Japan, it seems that it can. The Japanese government has appointed its first suicide minister to address the problem of people taking their own lives because of psychological problems such as depression and a sense of isolation caused by the coronavirus pandemic and the social restriction imposed to combat it. In 2020, there were more suicides in Japan, the majority of them being women, than there were victims of the virus. The role of the loneliness minister will be to identify the underlying causes of this mental affliction and to devise policy measures to counter it. While 2020 witnessed a 16% of rise in the incidence of suicide in Japan, it appears that the pandemic is only one of the factors responsible for this tragic trend in that country and elsewhere. The UK was the first nation to appoint a loneliness minister in 2018, much before the coronavirus pandemic hit the world. It is a cruel anomaly that in the age of globalization and technological innovation that have made intercommunications between individuals easier, more and more people are driven to the most desperate of all measures through a despairing sense of isolation, trapped within their aloneness, cut off from all human contact. Tragically, it is the young who have their entire lives ahead of them, who seem to be most susceptible to succumbing to what Dostoevsky called tomorrow's zero. According to official statistics, there are 28 student suicides every day in India. That means a young life is self-destroyed every 51 minutes and 42 seconds. And the numbers are increasing year by year. Most students' suicides are attributed to the relentless pressure of studying and the fear of failure in exams. Such anxieties are intensified, too often unbearably so, by the emotional and psychic claustrophobia of loneliness. The breakup of the joint family system, the mass migration from small, closely knit rural communities to the faceless anonymity of huge cities have spread the malaise of the spirit called loneliness. Loneliness is the antithesis of solitude that the hermit chooses in a monastery or a remote mountain to meditate. The aim of sequestering oneself far from the clamor and distraction of the madding crowd is to connect with the essential inner core which constitutes all of humanity, transcending every distinction of nationality, race, or creed. The meditative solitude of the hermit is an affirmation of solidarity, of the oneness of humankind. For obvious reasons, we can't all follow the path of the hermit, the forsaker of worldly devices and desires, but in our own ways, in our everyday lives, we can attempt to memorialize the truth contained in the words of the poet, which by calling to mind the bond of our common mortality breaks through the barrier of loneliness. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent. It's our human destiny not to be alone, and it's our human tragedy that so many of us misremember this in the deadly amnesia of loneliness.